So it's Morton 245 here. Today we're taking a look at Wun-Dar. So I decided to do my first, Master Universe Classics review today because I actually don't have a whole lot of classics because classic figures are kind of expensive now, but I have a few, and this one is one of my favorite ones that I have. So I decided I'll do a review on this one today. So let's start with his accessories. So the first accessory is this half power sword, which is not the standard one, which was silver and gray. This one's got like a black tone to it. It looks pretty cool actually. You can see it's just a half version of this because there's the pegs and they were attached to the other side of the sword. But it's a pretty cool accessory. It also comes with a whole version of the sword, which is pretty cool. The black and silver tone looks really cool for this, and see it's got that classic shape to it, like the original style of the power sword. Just pretty cool accessory. It comes with this black version of the Zodiac pistol, which is which unfortunately I don't have the Zodiac one to show it to you, but see, it's just a white version of Zodiac's pistol with some silver paint on there here in a few places. There's a little bit of a messy paint mishap right there on mine, but you can see pretty cool pistol, and he can hold all these, which I'll show you here in just a minute. He also comes with a black version of Zodiac's armor, which has like a W for like Wun-Dar, that Wun-Dar bread. And as you can see, the back here has the 3 colored dogs, which is also a what's the word for it? Like a resemblance to Wun-Dar bread. But you can see it pegs right here, so you can put it around Wun-Dar's waist and stuff. I'll show you here just a minute, but pretty cool. Some vintage versions of the Wun-Dar bread He-Man have this, some of them don't, so it's unclear if he actually came with this new or not. But now his last accessory, and probably the one that most people ain't gonna play with, is the loaf of bread. Now, some people may be wondering, why does he come with a loaf of bread? And the reason for that is because Wun-Dar bread, and this figure was originally supposed to be a offer from Wun-Dar bread. So, which I actually do display him holding this piece of bread. It's a little hard to get him to bounce it on his arm, but I'll show you how that looks. Because the way you put all the accessories onto Wun-Dar, you take the armor, you can unfasten the pegs, stick it around his waist like so. Then you take and fasten it where you unfasten it there, and so now he's got the armor on. He can hold the half power sword, which is a little bit loose in his hand. He gets a bit of a better grip on the whole power sword because there's more grip there. He can hold on to the blaster, which is a little bit hard to do on camera here. Get into it. There we go. So he can hold on to the blaster, and the way I typically display him, get the blaster back out of his hand. I get him like so, with on top of his sword up in a pose like this. Get his arm like so. Now I take the loaf of bread and kind of display him holding the loaf of bread kind of like that. But you gotta kind of balance it just right to get him to hold it. So, but it kind of looks something sort of like this. Okay, so let's go over Wun-Dar's articulation. He had the standard articulation for classics figures, which is a lot more articulation than any other era before. But the new Masterverse figures even have more articulation than these classics ones. But for the time period, these classics figures had really good articulation. He had like a ball joint at the head. He had a hinge at the elbow and a swivel. Also had a hinge at his shoulder there, and a single hinge at the elbow, a swivel at the wrist. He had ab crunch articulation. He also had a swivel at his waist there. So I had a hinge and a ball joint at the thigh there, and also at his hip has some swivel articulation. He also has a single bend at the knee and a hinge at the ankle. So let's go over the sculpt, design, and color of Wun-Dar, starting with his head. As you can see, it's the standard He-Man head, which unfortunately I don't have the standard He-Man from this line, but so I can't compare it. But basically it's the same head, just with brown hair and eyebrows instead of blonde, like the normal He-Man. And you see it has the very 80s style haircut to it, because it's supposed to be a representation of the original figure from the 80s. And I removed the armor so we could get a better look at his at first of all his articulation a minute ago, and his chest here. As you can see, he's like the 80s He-Man. He's ripped like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got big muscles and everything, which He-Man should have. He-Man shouldn't be skinny. He should be big. But as you can see, he pumps a lot of iron, as you can see, and you see he's got the two different wrist bracers like the vintage figure. He's got the smaller one around his right arm there, and he's got the bigger one around his left arm, which are painted black, which have like a kind of a silver wash on both of them, which is actually kind of brings out a little bit of detail. His belt has the same color with the same kind of silver wash on it, which looks really cool. And as you can see, he's got the brown furry loincloth, which the loincloth on this one's a little bit stiff. The re-release version of He-Man had the corrected shoulders and a softer loincloth, and this one I think has the corrected shoulders, but it's still got the harder loincloth, which would be a problem if you're going to sit him on Battle Cat. Which this is a figure I probably wouldn't sit on Battle Cat, so that's not an issue for me. But as you can see, he's got big ripped legs like He-Man should have. Big defined muscles in his legs, and you see he's got predominant calves too, as you can see. And his boots are mostly black, very barbaric style with there's like a more of a grayish color around the wrappings of his boots, which kind of bring it out a little bit. Pretty good detail. Okay, so for comparison time, I'm gonna bring in my vintage He-Man figure here, which now unfortunately that vintage Wonder Bread He-Man is very rare and very expensive and hard to find nowadays. So unfortunately, I don't have that figure. Which if I ever get my hands on it, I'll probably buy one if it ain't crazy expensive. But which I'll show you a picture of the vintage one, which is basically the same figure as the vintage He-Man. They're just in the colors of this classic one here. Sometimes some of them you find with the Zodak armor, and sometimes you don't. So they don't really know if this figure, if the original figure came with that armor. Mattel can't even confirm that the original one actually existed. So there's not much on that vintage figure. Here he is compared to another Classics figure on the Master Universe Classics Anti-Eternia He-Man, which I will do a review on. I actually have the Origins version of the Anti-Eternia He-Man as well, so I'll do a review and comparison on that figure too. And as you can see, it's the same overall figure and everything, just with different accessories and paint apps. The same head, everything. So if I get the normal Classics He-Man, I'll do a review on it too, and so I can compare it to the Anti-Eternia He-Man there. So what do I think of Wun-Dar overall? I really like this figure. It's one of my favorites I actually have. Now, I wish I had the vintage one, because that version is really cool. But like I said, unfortunately, it's very expensive nowadays. So that's why I don't actually have one myself. But if I can, one of these days, I'll probably eventually get one. But so if you like this video, we'll see more. Like it, give me a thumbs up, to help me out a lot, and don't forget to hit subscribe to more Joe245. Till next time.